live on both platforms. Yay! I'm live. We'll move you across this way. Ooh, that might do. Does that work? Yeah, that might work. Right. So I'm live on YouTube and on Facebook. Oh, I forgot to do that. Never mind. I'll do it on one page on Facebook. I have multiple pages because I teach in various places, and I like to enable people to just have one place to go to for their local area. Basically, that's why I've done that. Also helps form community, I suppose. Anywho, I thought I've spoken in the last few weeks. I've spoken about the various areas in which I teach. Today, I'm just going to talk about some reflections. I guess it'd be quite nice. I've recently been running clown sessions online for one person, an autistic performer. I thought that's something nice to talk about. So they've done a fair amount of improv in the last year, and then they've now started. They've done 4 clown sessions with me, rather brief sessions. The first session was a little longer than the other 3, but the point I guess I'm making is it's an interesting experience, and I did it to explore running such sessions online. I've talked to some students, some clown work online a couple of years ago, maybe last year. Time flies. And I thought it would be nice to explore doing that again, but with a one-to-one. And if you've ever done any clown workshops or taught any clown, I would suggest you'd realize it's a little difficult when it's one-on-one, because you need that audience there. But it's been fun. It's been interesting. It also means that there's a different type of interaction with a teacher-student. And many people would suggest that via negativa isn't appropriate pedagogy, and it certainly wouldn't be for an autistic person. And I know various teachers that don't use it and would have great success in teaching autistic people clown. One person I have in mind, and I've had a brief conversation online, just text-based, small back and forth, about doing it in the future. I don't know when the future will happen. Somewhen. I'm just thinking if I should say who I'm talking about, but I won't. We'll move on. But anyway, we tried a small little audience this week, and it was interesting because obviously it's a small amount of time that we were working together to have that initial learning of a process that you can sit yourself in when performing clown. And there was various things that happened. One is the difficulty of being online and having that audience live with you online. And then during the pandemic, I've done various live improv shows. And in one series, I was trying to promote the audience interaction with just vocalizing their enjoyment, laughing. But it's difficult because I know people that have streamed the show to their TV, and they are in the room, so they're further back. And when you're in person live, you have this intimacy, but because you're online and you're working to a camera and the audience are watching via a screen, there's this segregation. Oh, that's not the greatest word, but let's do separation between you and the audience, or the audience and the performer. And I felt that in this session this week, for the performer and their audience. So I thought that was really interesting. That it's still there. It's quite obvious. I've I experienced it before, so it's quite obvious. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting thing to consider and reflect on. But what is good is there are various things coming back up. People are running sessions, so there are in-person sessions. I've obviously got my improv sessions. I guess one reason I was looking at the clown sessions is to see if a shift on the old Facebook there. It's I'm now higher up in the image. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, I guess one reason is to explore doing more online based clown sessions, and there are resources that have a certain pedagogy of working with teacher clown online specifically, and that's interesting. There's plenty of stuff out there for that, but I wanted to explore my own ways that I have done in the past and then try to put that online. I've done this with improv, but at the moment I worked through it all. I decided to go back in person anyway. But then, c'est la vie. So those are the key points I was thinking about before coming on. Is there any? I don't know if there's actually live people watching. If there's anything you wish to comment on or say, I can try to speak to it, whether it's about this or not. Yes, Facebook is now telling me that I'm live. I know I'm live. I'm doing it. Other things to speak to. I don't know. I suppose in a way I miss the engagement of in-person stuff, but I also know the accessibility of doing things online. It'd be interesting to do more of what I have been doing. As I say, I've been exploring it with a person that I know, this online clown. So yeah, I will be doing more. If you are an autistic performer or have done some improv and you are autistic, I will probably be interested in hearing from you, because I might be doing more similar things and growing a project or two, or seeing what happens with this going forward. So do get in touch, because yeah, it seems to be something I'm currently interested in. Yeah. Anything that I can answer? I don't think any comments are coming up still either. I don't know what else I should be saying on this. I've done the reflection I was thinking about today. So that's that. How about in various places in the UK there are comedy nights that are specifically for neurodivergent people. I don't think you have to be neurodivergent to be in the audience, but to get on stage you do. And these are really quite cool spaces that enables performers to put on what they want to, because if you go to any other comedy night, you might be restricted to try to put on something that will suit, the neurotypical, for no better term to use. So these are good spaces. We have, Kent, as you probably have gathered and you've watched the other videos, we have a night like that in Kent, and I guess in the southeast we've got more than other areas that I know about, because in Brighton there's also a night as well. So if you want to do some comedy and you are neurodivergent, this is the area to be, southeast. Yeah, I'm gonna have 3 strikes and then I'm out. If I have another moment where I'm like, what else should I be saying, I might just go call it quits. 3 strikes. I'm not a sporty person, but I think that's a sports reference. 3 strikes, baseball. Okay. So my point being then, what have I discovered? I guess those points don't come together; they're just thematically linked. For first of all, I have a viewer again. Hello. Yeah. So the reflection was that I have relearned that online has its restrictions and difficulties because of the technology that we're using, and how that separates people. And when we're trying to do art forms that are all about connecting, it becomes very difficult. I think both clown and improv are about connecting more than anything else. It's comedy through that connection rather than comedy through your smarts or or just saying and doing funny things. I have a question I can answer. Are the neurodivergent comedy spaces also for improv in the southeast? I'd assume so. To be quite honest, I don't think they reject any specific art form. I think you can go with any form of comedy. Maybe you can go and not be funny at all. Who knows? I don't know what specific forms they're looking for. I know various spaces that do alternative comedy, and that would restrict you from not doing stand up, which is quite a dominating form of comedy. But I think in these spaces you could do stand up. So I don't think they discriminate against forms. They'd obviously need you to be neurodivergent. But yeah, thank you for your question. I wonder if there's nights like these outside of Southeast. I've heard about them just because the network I'm in, I guess. I don't think there's much outside of Southeast, but there might well be one to look into. There are various people that I could actually find out from. Yeah, thank you for your question. At the moment, the Brighton show are in the Brighton Fringe Festival, and so they've actually got a night coming up. And I believe in Kent they've also got a night coming up. I saw a message recently around or a post about it. Another question, thank you. Could you run such a space online? Well, yes, of course, yes. But it would it would link back to my reflection, being that if you're doing something that's about connecting, then running it online, you're already separating, and it's more difficult because even the performer needs to hear what's working, such as with clown. Then it's going to be difficult for them to really work in such a space. But that depends on ultimate goals and such as well, because someone might have worked out what they're going to do and be live with it and understand how the online situation works enough that they can run with what they've got and still work live with the audience. But personally, it's quite off-putting when you can't actually hear anyone. Well, here's an anecdote that's just come back to my mind. When I first produced the show online, that was specifically about having that more party atmosphere that I was looking for. We'd had a little bit of a raucous audience, which is great, but it can also be distracting for performers when there's other noises going on other than just the enjoyment of the show. And we had all the performers are co-hosts, so they could do what they needed to do. And the audience had their mics on, but the videos off, so they couldn't turn their videos on. And if they were muted other than themselves, I guess they couldn't turn their mics back on either, I don't think. And one of the performers was a little annoyed about the background sound all the time, and they opted to mute everyone. I was not aware of them doing this until right at the end of the show. So couldn't hear anyone for the rest of the show. I didn't know why. I didn't really think about checking why. And it was because one of the performers muted everyone. Counterintuitive to my goal. But never mind. Oh, thank you. I agree. Really off-putting. I wonder if others have also the same issue, and that people watching online because quite passive, unlike face-to-face audience. I wonder if others have. I'm not sure I quite get it, but I guess the live audience is quite passive, I guess, is what you're saying. If it's face-to-face, that is not necessarily true. Or the online people could be passive. Yeah, I guess that is true, but it's also various things that are in the way for an online audience. They're watching on a screen of some sort, so they're already put into a different situation, different atmosphere. You don't have that audience homogenized group laughter sort of thing, which is what you're looking for. You're looking for that collective audience happening when you're doing in-person performances. And online, you don't get that because everyone's in their own home. So they might be more passive because they're further away from you from the screen to where they are sat in the room, or if they're at the computer, maybe it feels like work or something, or there's various reasons why they might be more passive. But it doesn't always have to be that way. It's just a different feeling, and it can be quite difficult. Doesn't mean not to do it, of course. There's lots of people that have managed successfully to run shows online, and it just means adapting what you want as a producer of these shows, or how you do it. There is an autistic comedian in North America who had a different style when he was doing face-to-face stand-up comedy, and when he went online, he adapted it completely to be more about storytelling, which is a topical comment to make, but many years ago. Was it Bob Odenkirk saying that comedy is going to be transitioning to storytelling more than just the stand-up that has been the common in years past, as in storytelling rather than storytelling jokes, I guess. But interesting stuff. Yeah, thank you for your comments there. Yeah, I was saying other things as well. What was I saying before? Reflections on various things. I'm not sure. That means I'm on strike 3. That means I'm out. And tag in the next person to bat, if that fits the metaphor still. Okay, well, thank you very much for listening. How do people get in contact with me? You can email me at info@nathanimprov.com. You can find me on social media. I've only put this Facebook on the Nathan Improv page, but I also have other places, which are Cardiff Improv, Canterbury Improv, Margate Improv, and Basingstoke Improv. So those all have Twitters and Facebook pages. You can contact me via those. And I also have Nathan Improv on Instagram. I'm Nathan Improv 1. I have classes in all of these places as well. In June, not selling in Cardiff anymore. So if you do want to do some improv in Cardiff, you need to email me now. And if there's enough interest, I'll set one up soon. It might need to be September. If there is enough interest to do that soon. And apart from that, I have classes in Canterbury, 4th and 5th of June, Basingstoke, 11th and 12th of June, and Margate 18th and 19th of June. So these are weekend intensive going from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. So you get some rest in the mornings. Yeah, it's really cool work. And this is the fundamentals of improv comedy. So you can book that, and you can book that on Eventbrite, and just have to search out for Nathan Improv and weekend. You probably find it. You probably find it from just Nathan Improv. Yeah. So thank you once more, and I'll talk to you soon. Maybe next week. I think these can be weekly, but I'm working that one out as well. Bye for now.